My next guest has performed all over the world with artists from Aretha Franklin and Merle Haggard to Mick Jagger, Van Morrison, Springsteen, but he always finds his way back to Massachusetts. Before he was the frontman for the J Geils Band-turned-chart-topping solo artist, Peter Wolf was Woofa Goofa, the all-night DJ at Boston's legendary rock station WBCN, and when he traded his gigs spinning records for one recording them, Wolf didn't stray too far, writing songs like this in the state where it all started.
The station, got another empty train. I'm waiting for the baby slow train, but it's never coming back. And it feels like I'm wasting my time.
Ahead of a special New Year's Eve show at the Great Cabot Theater in Beverly, Peter Wolf joins me now. Hello there, Peter.
Well, first let's shake, because I got to tell you, I am a big fan of yours.
I'm a big fan of yours.
Well, then we have a mutual society.
But you know what the horrible thing is? I wore a black jacket in honor of you because I never saw you in anything except black, and now you're in maroon.
Well, I'm in maroon because this is the festive time of the year, and
exactly.
I thought, you know, I want to try some kind of contrast.
So sitting in that chair, I think 2 nights ago was Oedipus, speaking of BCN, talking about his Christmas show on WGBH, and then you were kind enough to give me a book when you showed up tonight, Buy Me Boston, Local Ads and Flyers, 1960s to 80s. Both those things made me think about going back on the Wayback Machine. What was the music scene like when you arrived here almost 50 years ago, actually 50 years ago?
Well, I got a scholarship at the Boston Museum School of Fine Arts, and I was from New York, painter. I was going to be very serious, and there was people from the Bauhaus painting there, and so I got to meet some of people that worked with Matisse and people that worked with Feininger, and Feininger's son was a teacher of mine. And there were other artists that had a band, and they got together once a week at a loft, and I ended up hanging out there, and I kept saying, hey, can I play? And oh, no, man. You know. And finally, I talked my way into it. We started playing, and our first experience was playing with the Shirelles, and we played in a little joint in Everett. It was the Shirelles, and the name of my band, give you a sense of the time, was the Hallucinations.
I knew that. Isn't that right?
And then we ended up really learning our craft at a place called the Combat Zone of Boston.
You played in the Combat Zone?
Played every day at the Combat Zone in Boston.
Strippers and your band?
Well, there were lady dancers.
I don't mean that in a pejorative way.
No, I know. But there were strip clubs, and then there was dance clubs with go-go gals. Uh-huh. And we played in the dance clubs with go-go gals, like the Intermission Lounge. Uh-huh. And they were all run, I'd be fair to say, by what we call today wise guys. Uh-huh. And it was a great place to learn because you did 5 sets a night, which was 40 on, 20 off. And the guy would say to you, hey, you the leader of the band? I go, yes, sir. He goes, all right, here's the rules and regulations. I want you to dress neat. I want no cursing. I want you to play music, not too loud, but music people can dance to and have fun to. Do you understand every word I'm saying? I said, yes, sir. I said, I'm 40 on, 20 off, matinee on Saturday, matinee on Sunday. You got it? I said, yes, sir. And they paid you in cash. If there's any trouble, you come to me. And we would go there every day, and there was one place called the Saxony Lounge, and it was right across from the Park Plaza Hotel, where the Four Seasons is. Down the street was the Hillbilly Ranch. That was so tough, it was country and western, so tough that they wouldn't let the military police in, and you couldn't be in a uniform yet because there was, oh boy, there was lots of fights going on. And I remember being on the Saxony Lounge on the stage, and many comedians and people that would come into town, salesmen and stuff. And one day I'm on the stage, it was an afternoon matinee, Saturday matinee, and in walked one of these most handsome men I ever saw. And he was like this tall, beautiful suit walking down. It was Duke Ellington.
Oh, my God.
And he walked up to the stage, you know, and we were just doing our rock and roll thing. And he said, carry on, fellas. You're doing great. And he walked up to this stairway, and apparently the lady that also worked in the club was selling, shall we say, fur coats that fell off a truck.
Got it.
And the Duke was buying some for his ladies' friends. And
You know, speaking of you on the stage when Duke Ellington, I read an interview with you about a year ago, since I saw you last, in which I think you said, I may get this wrong, that in your early days, you didn't talk a lot on the stage, you didn't move around on the stage. That's all you are, is like a whirling dervish. Is that true about your early days, or was that not true?
Was I sober?
No, I'm serious.
No, I think ever since I hit the stage, I didn't
You've
stop
been that
moving.
way.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw you, I mentioned the Natick Center for the Arts. I love you and your band, Midnight Travelers. That's what they call it.
The Midnight Travelers, the A-Team, they are
the A-Team.
They are the A-Team.
And you were, I mean, really unbelievable in this fabulous venue out there. What's the difference between the Peter Wolf on the stage at the Natick Center for the Arts, what it was, about a year ago, and the Peter Wolf of what we were just talking about decades ago?
Well,
other than chronology.
No, but when we play a more intimate venue, it allows me to sort of talk and sort of be able to tell more stories, and because it's a quieter place. Usually, when we're playing bigger places, you kind of come out like a firecracker. Like when we were touring with Tom Petty recently, or we do the big venues. You got to just get out there and rock, roll, shake, rattle, and roll. You know,
I know the great bookends with the Petty stuff, because I know that he opened for you decades ago, and then right before he died, you were opening for him. Is it, by the way, is it apocryphal or true? Don't Do Me Like That he offered to you, and you didn't do it?
Well, this is true. He sent me a cassette with a letter saying, Pete, you know, I think there's a song, Jimmy Iovine, I'm working with, suggested you'd be great for it, and I think so too. And I put it on. It was a really good song, but we just finished a record at the time, and I called up Tom. I said, Tom, it's just not coming at the right time. And last time I saw Tom, last day of our tour when we were opening up for him, and I was so kind that he invited me to be on that tour. He said, you know, Pete, I said, Tom, I just want you to know, the reason I didn't do the song was, A, we just finished a record, and then there's a thing called band democracy. He said, hey, Pete, let me tell you, there ain't no democracy in the band. And he said, that song, I thought it'd be a hit for you, but I'm glad you didn't record it because it's a big hit for me.
So you took 40 years to tell him why you didn't do the song?
Well, I spoke to Jimmy Iovine, his producer, but I never personally got to Tom.
You know, you don't need advice. You want a little career advice?
Please.
Write a memoir. Why do you, seriously, when I thought of you last, I don't know why I was thinking about you, but maybe when I was watching the Springsteen Netflix. I was actually this weekend. I'm watching the next Netflix thing, Springsteen on Broadway, who you've played with, I've seen you play with. Why don't you write a memoir?
Well, Christopher Hitchens once said, everybody has a book in them, but doesn't mean everybody wants to read it. So
everybody would want to read it. You know everybody want to read it.
Well, funny you say that, but that's one of my New Year's resolutions is to actually, I started it, to actually really get deep into it and finish it.
You know, when I saw you at the Natick Center of the Arts, you did a lot of the new stuff and a lot of the old stuff too. You know, one of my favorite singers of all time and songwriters was Joni Mitchell. On a concert one night when I saw her, she said something like, somebody yelled out from the audience to sing, I don't know, KCU or something, and she said back with a smile on her face, did anyone ever ask Van Gogh to paint a starry night again, man, or something like that. Do you ever get tired of singing the old stuff? You don't seem to at all. Is that okay with you?
It's fine with me.
For you, or because you're doing it for the audience? Do you do it for you or for them?
Well, you do it for both. I mean, you're there to entertain. You know what people are coming for. And if I go to see someone like Bob Dylan, I'm very interested in hearing whatever new songs he plays. But I'm very appreciative when he plays something that I've grown to love throughout the years. And so I think it's part of the whole picture. You don't have to do all the old songs, but it's always nice to pick out a couple.
What do people get at the Cabot?
Cabot, we're going to be starting at about 9 o'clock. It's going to be our way of launching for people the evening. We're going to get them out of there so they get to their favorite haunt or their favorite, sort of little spot where they can bring in the new year. Yeah,
but what happens before you get them out of there? What are they getting out of there?
Oh, they're going to be getting some, right down, dirty rock and roll. We're going to knock 'em, sock 'em, doing it too. Get right through it. The senior's got to come out because that's what rock and roll gym is all about. Taking it to the top. Shake, rattle, and roll.
You're what rock and roll is all about. Peter Wolf,
well,
I love you. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks
for having
so much.
me.
The great Peter Wolf. As I said, you can catch him.
Holidays.
And to you, of course. You can catch him on New Year's Eve at the Cabot Theater in Beverly, which is a fabulous venue. For more information, you should head to, surprise, peterwolf.com.